The last time I saw Brodie, all I could do is hold his hand and sit by his bed, and he couldn't communicate with me except by tracking with his eyes. But we really didn't need to say much to each other at that point. 6 months before, he had asked me to write his eulogy and use it as a part of his therapy, which was a very profound experience. But how I came to be his confidant to the point of writing his eulogy is part of Brodie's story. Brodie was a cowboy. He grew up in Montana on a ranch. And the ethic was boys don't cry, and you don't show your feelings, and you man up, cowboy up. And he quoted to me, he was a CEO of a company in Denver that was about 50 employees. And he quoted to me Max Weber, who's a sociologist, who said, "Are we living to work or working to live?" But the problem for Brodie was that he didn't know how to live beyond work. That's pretty much what he did. He had all the toys. He lived in an air park where you could fly your private plane up to your door. He had a fancy house and a BMW, but he was alone. And he'd never had a significant relationship. And the reason was that he was gay and in the closet. And he'd also been in the Marines and gotten more of that man up, boys don't cry kind of ethic. Well, he also used to wear a wedding ring so people wouldn't, well-meaning people wouldn't try to set him up with someone. And when they asked about his wife, he would just smile and change the subject. So I put Brodie in a group, a men's group for guys that had HIV. And he had a lot of trouble with it. That he was well liked, but he never revealed much about himself. And he told me once that hell would have to freeze over before he would open up. Well, he got a significant AIDS-related infection that swelled up the sac around his heart. And I went to see him in Rose Hospital, and he was lying on his back with IVs in both arms. And he looked up at me and he said, "Well, hell froze over." And after that, he really opened up. He opened up not only to the group, but to his family and his employees. And he got the opposite reaction than he expected. When he told his employees there wasn't a dry eye in the house. So here I am in the middle of the AIDS epidemic. And some of you probably remember Anthony Perkins. He was in Psycho, and he was in the famous shower scene. And this is his quilt panel right there with a shower curtain on it. At Brodie's memorial service, he wanted me to read something that Anthony Perkins said. And he said, "There are many who believe that this disease is God's vengeance, but I believe it was sent to teach people how to love and understand and have compassion for each other. I have learned more about love, selflessness, and human understanding from the people I have met in this great adventure in the world of AIDS than I ever did in the cutthroat, competitive world in which I spent most of my life." So what happened to me was I started to be inspired by these guys, by their way of coping and their resilience. There was certainly lots of negative things that happened, but there were lots of positive things. One of my clients, I always asked, "What do you want most out of life?" And one of them said, "I want lots of adventures so when I'm sick, I have lots of great memories to fall back on."